and this is Phoenix here, and today we're going to be doing yet another pickup video. I haven't done one in like 2 months from now. It seems like I've been doing them for like every 2 months it seems like, but I mean hey, it works for me, right? So anyways, you know the drill already. We're just going to be talking about some recent stuff that I picked up, and hopefully some of these things or might be things that you either know about or you didn't know about, and we can just talk about it and all that fun stuff. So as always, let's just get right into it. And we finally got some video games this month. There's a couple of them here, but we're going to be talking about the 2 Switch games. So this game I got here happens to be Bladed Fury on the Nintendo Switch. And this was a game I actually found out about from, I think it was Games with T that talked about this game. And from what I remember what he showed of it, it actually did look like a pretty cool game. It's pretty much a side-scrolling hack-and-slash game. It does have some little bit of Metroidvania stuff, but I actually find that this game very much reminds me of like a Vanillaware game, sort of like Muramasa the Demon Blade or Odin Sphere, where you get skill sets that you can level up. You also have even the way how the map is laid out looks very similar too. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, I played this for an hour, and yeah, I can definitely say I like what I played of this. I definitely do want to play more of it, but I'm also kind of unsure of which one I want to play next. I'm either debating between this game or No More Heroes 2, because I also have that on the Switch, and I did try out the first boss on that one, and it was pretty fun shit. Alright, and next up we got the last Switch game, and this one's still brand new. I haven't even opened it out of the package yet, and that happens to be Ender Lilies. So this is yet another action platforming, Metroidvania type game. And yeah, I actually found this at one of the game stores outside of town, and it was not that expensive for a brand new game. It was $50. Now I know you're probably thinking $50, that's not that cheap. It's well, you gotta remember guys, here in Canada, brand new games are fucking $80 to $90 now. So $50 compared to that, it's fucking nothing. But yeah, so yeah, as you can tell, the artwork is really fucking cool looking. And, yeah, I've heard, some of the music in this game, and the music is fantastic. That's actually one thing that I do love about that. And next, we're going to be talking about some 360 games. I actually found, 4 of them, and this one right here happens to be Need for Speed Carbon, which I've actually never played this Need for Speed game before, but I hear from a couple people that it's actually, really damn good and is, considered, one of the best. I know, Terry309 really loves this one, so I've always wanted to try it, but I wasn't sure, which version to get, because, there's, a shitload of versions of this game. Not only it's on 360, it's on PS3, it's on, PS2, GameCube, it's also on, the handhelds, on PC, but I think the PC version, it's, annoying to, get working or some shit, I don't know, but yeah, there's games on, fucking almost everything at the time, so yeah, I got it on 360 just because it was the most convenient for me, but, yeah, like I said, though, I've never played this one. I know I used to love Underground 1 and 2, and all that. Most Wanted was pretty good, but yeah, yeah, so I'll finally get around to playing this one. And next up, we got a Koei game, and you're probably thinking, oh, it's gonna be like a Warriors game, isn't it? Well, it's a racing game! Yes, Koei did a racing game. I know I talked about this game in one of my videos there. I think it was the obscure Koei games, or the Koei games that you wouldn't expect, or some shit like that. And I also streamed the the PS3 version when I emulated it, and it ran really good. But, yeah, this game is actually really fun. So, as you can tell, it's, it's a racing game. And you may be thinking it's like F-Zero, but no, it's actually kind of more like Wipeout, but if you can actually go, up and down and all this kind of stuff. So, it's more it's kind of like a flying game, but you're racing, but what you're racing with is just, hover cars, pretty much. But yeah, it's actually a really fun game. I actually liked what I played of it. It was, it had some good music, some pretty cool looking graphics for the time, and also, weird fact, this game was made in Canada. Yeah, Koei had a Canadian branch. Who would have thought? But, yeah, very interesting. But yeah, like I said, there's a PS3 version that was digital only, and then you got this one. This has a physical and all that, and, has a nice colorful manual and shit. So, yeah, like I said, very underrated game if I say so myself. And next up we got is Prey. which is a game I haven't played in like forever, and it's also one of those games that had a very interesting development history. Even the sequel had an interesting history where it was cancelled and then it was brought back and it was like totally changed, but I'm not going to go over all that because it's a lot, and I'm sure you probably know about it. But yes, like I said, this is a game that I played years ago on my friend's 360, and I remember it being pretty cool, and then recently I was kind of thinking like, you know what? I kind of want to actually, like, play through this game properly, because I remember this game was, like, kind of cool for the time, so, yeah. I don't know what else to say other than that I do remember at the beginning part you can mess around with a jukebox, and that actually has Judas Priest songs in it, and they also have, the very first enemy that you encounter is, mutant chickens. Yeah, that's, like, all I really do remember about it. And the next one we got is, wet. Because, oh my god, I got wet. Okay, well, you probably saw that coming, but anyways, yeah, so this is a game I remember playing the demo of this years ago. Funny enough, it was actually almost around the same time as when I first played Prey. And I remember the demo was really awesome, but for some reason, I never bought the game. I don't know why. If I had to guess, it was probably because I was, like, looking at, like, all the bunch of games, and I was trying to pick between which one I wanted, and I probably just picked something else over wet for some reason. So anyways, yeah, so from what I remember, this game's like a hack and slash, but also meets like shooting, similar to Max Payne. Kind of has like a little bit of both, and it has like a very grindhouse kind of feeling of it. Very Quentin Tarantino, so I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking down with that, and yeah, now I finally have it, so... Yeah, like I said, I remember this game being pretty cool from when I played the demo. And the next thing you know, I played the game, and it's like, totally different. Yeah, wouldn't that be weird? Alright, and as for the last video game, before we move on to the movie stuff, we got a collector's edition that I pre-ordered a couple months ago, but it came in last month, I want to say. And that happens to be Tales to Azure, you know, the second Crossbell game. And yeah, I haven't even taken it out of the plastic yet because I actually beat the first part to this game early December. So yeah, a couple months ago. And as much as I love this series, I'm not gonna lie, I can't play these games like back to back to back because it can just be a little bit too much for me. So I'm probably gonna be playing this game probably in about the fall, maybe. I know Reverie will be out by then, but you know. Like, I can wait, you know, like, I got so many fucking games to play that, like, I'm not really worried about it, but yes, I definitely will say that I'm looking forward to playing this one, because I've heard a lot of people say that this is, like, one of the best games in the series, so I'm very interested to see how that goes, and I did like the first game quite a bit, but I don't know if I'd say I like it better than, like, Cold Steel 3, or, like, you know, 2, or even 4, but, you know, but like I said, like, it's one of those series I really love a lot. You know, I'm making fun of it with an abridged series, so that should tell you how much I love it. Alright, now before we move on to the movie stuff, we got a couple anime shit that I got. And this one right here is some Loop on the Third stuff, and that is these like little movies here. They are The Dragon of Doom and what the hell is this one called? The Pursuit of Hermao's Treasure. Now, I haven't gone around to watching these yet. I was actually going to the other day, but then I had an opportunity to see the Mario movie, and I was just like, well, these will have to wait for a little bit. But I mean, I've had them for like a couple weeks now, so, you know, I can watch them whenever I want. But yeah, these are, you know, like I said, they're two movies that were released in the 90s. This one was 94, and this one was 95. And I definitely do need some more Lupin stuff in my collection, because literally, outside of these two, I only have the Ghibli Studio movie. I don't have, like, anything else. So there's a lot of Lupin the Third stuff that I just, like, really love a lot, and I would love to get. So, yeah, it's a good thing we're going to be starting with these, and, you know, like I said, I've never seen any of the 90s movies, because there's actually quite a lot of them. I was kind of surprised. Alright, next up we got is one that I was actually kind of surprised I found in the area, and that happens to be Gungrave. Yes, I think this was based after the video game. I'm pretty sure the video game came first, and then they made it into an anime. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. But, yeah, I always thought, like, the character was, like, really fucking cool looking. In fact, I really just like the art style in general. And I did play the video game, at least the second one, which was Overdose. And, yeah, I gotta be honest, I thought the game was just kind of okay. Like, you know, I love the idea of it, and like I said, I like the way it looks, but, yeah, I didn't love it, but I didn't, like, hate it either. It's just like I said, it was just kind of there. But I always heard a lot of good things about the anime. In fact, I know someone out there, I forget who it was, told me that the anime was even better than the video game, and I was like, oh wow, really? So yeah, like I said, very curious and wanted to check this one out. And as for the last one here, well, this one isn't quite anime, but it is animation, but, you know, fuck it, it might as well be anime at this point. And that happens to be Aeon Flux. So I actually found this at the same place that I found Gungrave there. And, yeah, I remember this shit as a kid. They used to play it really late at night on YTV. And in fact, they even had the little MTV logo there. I used to play it on there too, but I didn't, like, know about that channel until, like, years later. But, yeah, so, yeah, Neon Flux is a very weird, interesting little series there. In fact, it was actually a part of Liquid Television, which, I don't know if anyone remembers that, but that was, like, some weird shit. I actually remember, not long ago, I was actually looking up stuff about it when I got this, and I was just like, okay, let's look up Liquid Television, because I, like, completely forgot about it until after looking it up, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember now, and a lot of it is weird as shit. Some of that stuff is like, man, like, you would not be able to get away with it today. I'm just gonna tell you that right now, but, yeah. I always liked that cover. I always thought this was a cool cover. Alright, and now we're going to get to the live-action movies. So this first one right here is a childhood favorite of mine, and that happens to be Jumanji on DVD, because I couldn't find the Blu-ray of it, and this copy was in pretty good shape, so I wasn't going to say no. So yes, I love this movie as a kid. I haven't seen it in years, but I definitely do want to rewatch it again. But, you know, it's all about, like, a board game that's cursed, and I also remember that scene where the guy ends up, like, getting sucked into the board game was scary as shit as a kid, and then years later he turns out to be Robin Williams, which is awesome. And, yeah, I can say a lot about this one. Like, I know, as you can see here, like, the part where he fights with the Pelican, I remember that shit was funny as a kid. But, yeah, like I said, this is definitely a 90s classic, and fuck the remakes. Alright, and next up we got is one I never even heard of until I just randomly seen it, and I just picked it up randomly. And I actually did watch this one, and that happens to be Death Trap with Christopher Reeves and Michael Caine. And yeah, I thought the cover art was kind of interesting. I was just kind of like, okay, interesting actors, and then I just kind of read the back here and was kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna watch it. And I did, and it's not bad. It's decent. I do think the acting, like, from Christopher Reeves and Michael Caine are good, but the bitch there, Diane Cannon, she is fucking horrible in this movie. She is so fucking annoying. So, yeah. But I will say, it does have a very interesting twist at the end that I wasn't really expecting, but, yeah, and I do like the way the look of the movie, like the room that they're in that has all the weapons around it. It's kind of cool looking, but, yeah, it's alright, you know, for like $3, it was worth it. Alright, now you know what time it is now with the type of voice that I have, is that we're going to be talking about 2 Arnold movies. So, this one right here is The Sixth Day. And, okay, I'm gonna just talk normally now, but, okay, so The Sixth Day is a film I remember watching as a kid, and I only remembered, like, you know, just a couple scenes here and there, and I did rewatch it a couple weeks ago, actually about a month ago. And, yeah, you know what? I still really like this film. I still think it's cool. Like, it's all about, like, you know, the dangers of, like, cloning humans, and, you know, Arnold gets cloned, and, you know, the one scene I do remember a lot was the one where he's like, someone is in there with my family eating my birthday cake, and it's not me. And then one part I completely forgot about that made me laugh my ass off was the part where he's seeing himself, like, putting together his garage that got, like, destroyed, like, during, like, an action scene. So he's seeing his clone fixing it, and he's, like, trying to, like, prove to his friend that, like, that he's been cloned. So then, like, his friend, like, looks at him, he's like, wow, you know what, you're right, he really does act like you. Look, he's even a shitty carpenter like you. And then, like, Arnold just, like, gives him, like, the stupidest look. I love it. So, yeah, you know what? I actually think this is a good one. And I think this came out in, like, the year 2000. So, yeah. Yeah, I like this one. Alright, and then the other one is Raudil. And this was actually my first time actually watching this movie. Yes, no joke. I only knew, like, about, like, a couple clips online. But I actually did watch it from beginning to end a couple weeks ago. And I can say I think this one's pretty good. I don't like it as much as The Sixth Day, but I think it's good. It definitely has some good action scenes in it, but I do feel like the pacing is a little slow. Like, there's definitely a lot of parts in it that are just very talky about shit that I don't care about, but when it gets good, it does get good. And there are some funny as shit parts in here, like Joseph P. Bretta. What does the P stand for? Pussy. I love that. And the part where he gets, like, the cake thrown at him, and he's just like, you should never drink and bake. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, this one's not bad. Alright, and next up we got is a movie that I've always wanted to see because one of my good buddies on here always recommends it, and you know who you are, and that happens to be Chuck Norris in Silent Rage. And yes, I'm talking about Tyler Stevenson. He always, like, loves this movie. And yeah, like I've said in my VHS collection video that I just randomly did for the hell of it, I actually have this on VHS, but I just never, like, actually watched it until now when I have it on DVD. And, yeah. I think this film is actually pretty damn good, and does have some really good suspense moments, especially at the beginning when Chuck Norris is, like, in the house, and he's just, like, wandering around, and there's, like, no music whatsoever, except for, like, the sound of his footsteps. His little footies there. And also has a really kick-ass bar fight scene that was really awesome, and, yeah, very, very cool film, very underrated, and yeah, I gotta thank Tyler for actually, like, talking about this movie, because honestly, if it wasn't for him talking about it, I probably never would have, like, thought much about it, other than the fact that Chuck Norris was in it. But, another thing I will say, too, is that it is one of those DVDs that it's, like, double-sided, which is kind of shitty, and I don't know if there's a Blu-ray of it. I tried looking for one, and I couldn't find one that looked, like, legit, or one that was in, like, Region A. So, and I don't know, because I know with Blu-rays, it's weird with the whole region locking shit, so... Anyways, yeah, like I said, happy to have seen this one finally. And next up, we got a movie that I guess I could have put it into the anime section of this video, but fuck it, I'm doing it now. That happens to be Battle Angel Alita, the live-action movie. And I actually have seen this movie before, and I can tell you that this is definitely one of the best anime live-action movies that I've seen. Yes, I've heard there is some little differences here and there, but fuck it, they made it in a very entertaining film, and it looks good, and, you know, very cool shit, and, yeah. I really like this movie. I think it was surprisingly really good. And it was also in development hell for, like, years, so I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of expecting this movie to not be good, but yeah, it was actually good. Alright, and next we have is a movie that I found in a Walmart bin for, like, $5, and I was just like, hell yeah, this is definitely would be worth $5, and that happens to be Nicolas Cage in Color Out of Space. So, I haven't seen this one yet, but I do know a couple, scenes from it. Like, I know there's a part where Nicolas Cage, he's, like, eating something, he's like, even when I follow the book, they still taste like shit, so you know what? And he just, like slams dunk the whole thing in, like a garbage bin, but of course he acts all, like, angry and over the top about it, like he always does, and then he's like, slam fucking dunk! Trust me, like, it's way funnier than the way how I make it out to be, but yeah, that's, like, one scene that I know that sounds funny. But yeah, in case you didn't know, this was actually, based after... This whole story is based after H.P. Lovecraft's story, where it's all about this color that you can't see, and it makes shit go, like, insane, pretty much. So, yeah. Pretty much it's exactly the type of movie that Nicolas Cage should be doing. And, yeah, and I've heard a lot of great things about it, so I'm definitely going to be watching this real soon. And out of that same bin that I got Color Out of Space, I also found one of my favorite Stallone movies that is not the usual shit, and that is, Demolition Man. Yeah, this movie is just fun and cheesy and corny and over the top, and I love it. I think it's fun. And the villain in here is also just so hammy, and I love it too. So, yeah. Good old 90s cheesy Stallone at his best. Alright, and now we have probably one of the most unique films that I've picked up recently, and this actually happens to be from Arrow, like Arrow Video. They make some very interesting releases, and this is actually my first time ever buying one of these, because normally you have to buy them online, but I actually found a store that actually had this shit, and I was like, hell yeah. That happens to be Millionaire's Express. So, yeah, I do love their new cover arts that they make for these, their releases. They're very, very cool looking, as you can tell. But yeah, there's also a lot of special features in this shit, and there's also, like, different versions of the film, too, that you get in this, too. Like, there's a lot of content in here, so, yeah. definitely is worth it for that. So, okay, so in case you're wondering what the hell this is a over-the-top martial arts film where it's about this guy. He's like an outlaw, and then he returns to like this like shitty little town, and then he has this like great and he's like but even though he's an outlaw, he's like related to like the mayor who owns that shitty little town. So he has this like idea where that there's like a train with a bunch of like rich people on it. So he ends up blowing up the train or blowing up the tracks with the train on it. So then all like the rich people have to stay like in like the shitty little town kind of thing. And yeah, there's like a lot of different like characters and fight scenes. And I know who was it there? Cynthia Rothrock is in this movie, which is pretty fun. And yeah, very, very fun. Like I said, like I bought this just because I just thought it looked cool, and I've always wanted to check out an Arrow released one, and yeah, I'm happy with it. This is definitely a very good movie that I can definitely recommend if you want some fun martial art movie. All right, and next we got ourselves another box set, and this one here is the Lord of the Rings trilogy with the extended editions. And you know what? Even though I've seen these movies, I think I've seen all three of them like twice, like in a row. But when it comes to like the extended editions, I've actually never seen any of the extended editions. Weird enough, I've only just seen just the standard ones. Actually, funny enough, the very first time I've seen the first Lord of the Rings was on fucking VHS, and it was actually in like two like VHS like tapes in one. So I thought that was kind of fun to think back on that. But yeah, I finally have these on Blu-ray, and it's a pretty cool looking set. And yeah, I don't need to say much else on it because this movie is like beloved by a lot of people, and it's very well known. And now we got for the last movie, and this is the last box set here. And this is one that I could probably go like talk about for like a long time, but I won't because we'll be here forever. And that happens to be The King of Horror, aka Stephen King movie collection. So all like, well, not all of them, but it has like 8 films that are based after his books, and there's actually some really good ones in here. So we'll just give you a quick look on the back, and alright, so I can talk about most of these. So we got Salem's Lot, the 1970s version. And I remember watching the movie as a kid, and I really liked it, but it was also very creepy as hell, but also kind of awesome too. And I definitely want to rewatch that one again, because not only has it been like a very long time, but it also, like I've read the book now, and I can definitely say it's definitely one of my top favorite books from him, so I am curious, I'm like wanting to rewatch it, because I know the big difference with him is that, he looks like a blue monster, where, in the book he was described as just being a normal guy. So I knew about that, but, I wonder, I'm trying to remember to see what other differences they make. And then this movie, The Shining, from 1980, from Stanley Kubrick, and this is probably going to be the part that people are going to get mad at me, but I kind of don't love that movie. Like, I don't hate it, I don't think it's bad, but I kind of find it to be a bit boring, I'm not gonna lie. It's very slow pace, and yeah, like it does have some good moments in there, like obviously the iconic, here's Johnny is that's kind of fun, and the little hedge maze chase scene is cool, but and it's also very well shot too. Like I love the atmosphere of the movie, but I do find, yeah, like I said, it is a little bit on the boring side. And I've heard that the movie is like very, very different from the book too, to the point that even Stephen King himself actually hated the movie, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, but apparently everyone loves it though, so I don't know. And then we got Creepshow, and Creepshow is a fun time. I actually remember watching that one years ago. I know, I remember one of the little short stories in that one, like Stephen King himself actually plays in it, and he plays like a goofy farmer, and it's really fun. I remember that. And then there's Cat's Eye, which is one of the few movies on here that I've actually never seen. I know it's another short story one similar to Creepshow, but I've heard it's like very trippy though, so that'll be interesting to watch that one. And then there's, of course, Stephen King's It, the TV movie. I'm not going to say much on that, but it's, it's a classic, and I loved it, even though it scared the shit out of me as a kid, but it was really awesome and great. And then we got The Shawshank Redemption, also a fucking awesome movie. In fact, some people even say that the movie's better than the book, because the book is, like, really, really short. And then we got The Green Mile, which, ironically, I actually just finished reading The Green Mile. And it'll be very interesting to rewatching that one, because, as again, I haven't seen it in years, but I remember loving it. So, and I can also say that the book is also very fucking good, too, by the way. And, yeah, it was definitely one of those cases where, like, you can't go wrong with either of them. And then the final one on here is Dreamcatcher. And Dreamcatcher, I remember watching it, and I don't remember fuck all about it, other than that it has a weird concept of, like worms that go in your asshole or some shit. I don't fucking know. It's fucking weirdo shit. And I've heard that the book is also, like, weirdo shit, too. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess they had to just throw something on here. But I would have preferred if they put Maximum Overdrive, just because, Stephen King actually did the screenplay of it, but I don't know. But either way, though, still a pretty cool set that has some cool packaging and all that, so, yeah, like I said, I definitely got to rewatch a lot of these stuff that I haven't seen since I was, like, a kid and a teenager. Alright, so, I didn't get any new CDs this month. Well, actually, I did. I ordered them, but they just haven't came in yet, and I really wanted to record this video now because I have the time for it. And yeah, so I'll just talk about them next time. But anyways, so when it comes to the books and manga, well, I got a few, but we're going to go to a different location to record that because I don't feel like going up down the stairs. Yeah, I do not feel like taking all this shit all the way downstairs, just so, because a lot of this shit gets heavy, especially, like, this new shit I got right here with the first manga stuff is 20th Century Boy, where I had volume 1 through 3, well, now I got 4 all the way to 10, though I'm missing 9. But, yeah, I've been talking about this series a lot. I freaking love it. I really do want to continue more of it, but I think I'm just going to get Volume 9 and 11 and, Volume 12, and then I'll finally be able to binge through reading the whole thing. But, yeah, I'm not going to repeat everything that I've been saying about it, because, I just think it's just really awesome shit that you guys totally need to read into at some point. So, yeah. So there's that. Nothing new here. Oh yeah, this is a new one. This is Clover. I actually did read through this whole book at the end of March, ironically enough. Yeah, this is Clover from Clamp. So yeah, this is a really big book. It's has everything all in one. Has a very cool spine, very lovely artwork, and I can say I think it was a pretty good book. It kind of ends weirdly, unfortunately, but the whole, like, everything else, like, leading up to the ending, though, was pretty interesting. It had some cool world stuff going on, but yeah, I just wish it was longer. But I can definitely say, like, this thing is definitely worth getting just for the artwork alone, though. So that's a new one. Oh yeah, this is new. I got Volume 2 of, The Black Museum. I actually talked about the Volume 1 recently. I can't remember if it was the last one or the one before that. But yeah, that one. Yeah, so I finally got Volume 2 of this one. I haven't read this one yet, but, I did like what I read of the first one, so I assume I'm probably going to like this one too. And then we got more monsters here. We got Volume 2 and 3. So now I got more of that. So, as again, just like 20th Century Boys, it's made by the same creator. And, I love the anime of this. It's definitely worth watching. I never shut up about it. And then we got, these are new. These are, Die Dark. Now, I actually read through the first 3. I haven't read 4 yet. 4 I ended up getting, like, somewhat recently. But, yeah, Die Dark is fucking awesome. This definitely might be, like, one of my favorite, like, newer mangas that I've been reading. It's just so fucking awesome. So, to sum it up, like, what it's about is that it's about this, the skeleton dude. Well, he's not actually a skeleton, he just kind of looks like one. Where someone, like, cursed, like, his bones in his body, and now everyone, like, wants to, like, kill him and take his bones and use them to, like, make a wish. So it's very, so basically everyone is, like, trying to kill him, essentially, and it's very thrilling, and, there's also a lot of, like, funny jokes in here, too. It's made by the same person who made, Dorohedoro, I think it's called, but, yeah, very, very cool series, and, I love the aesthetic of it, too, like, everything's all, like, skeleton and Halloween looking, but that's kind of what, like, appealed to me most, because when I first saw this shit, I was like, oh wow, this, like, basically looks like some, like, Skullomania type shit, like, this is fucking great. But yeah, I can definitely love this a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I love Chainsaw Man, but I think I kind of like this a little bit better, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, and then the only new thing down here I got was Rooster Fighter Volume 3, which unfortunately I have not read this one yet. I want to, it's just, I've just been reading, like, actual novels, so I haven't got to this one yet, but, from what I read of the first two, I fucking love it. It's one of the most craziest shit things I ever read in my life, and, yeah, it's fucking awesome. If you want to have, like, a crazy, like, manga about, like, a rooster that's just, like, killing people and shit. Well, he's not killing people, he's killing monsters, but still. It's fun shit. So yeah, that's all the newer mangas that I got. Now we're gonna moving on to the books, which, my bookshelves are like over here. Alright, so this is like the first top half of the Stephen King shelf, and yes, I do have The Stand. I've actually had that copy since I was like a teenager, and I do want to read through it. But yes, the new one I got here is I got a copy of It in hardcover with like one of my favorite cover arts. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, I don't really need to say much about It, because, it's, like, one of his most, like, famous works. Like, even if you never read them, like, you probably know the movies and the references and all that. But, yeah, I really want to read through that beast one day. I think it would be a very interesting journey. So, yeah, that'll be fun to read through. And the other newer one I got was these two right here. Rose Madder. This was one that, I'm not gonna lie, when I first, heard about this book, I kind of read, like, the description. It was kind of like, I don't know if I would enjoy reading about it, but then after, like, looking a little bit more into it without spoilers, I realized that it's actually a lot more interesting than I originally thought of it was. So basically, it starts out as, like, a domestic violence, like, sort of thing that happens, like, some pretty, like, dark, realistic shit, but then apparently as it goes on, there's, like, kind of leads to some, like, crazy, weird stuff, which I'm very intrigued on how that's all gonna play out, but yeah, like I said, it kind of starts out as, like, spouse abuse, like, stuff, but then it, like, there's, like, a whole, like, chase build up, like, towards getting to, like, the crazy shit, so I'm very intrigued on that. And then this one right here is Dolores Claiborne. I love the movie. I think the movie is great, but I've never read the book. I've heard the book is, like, really good because it's, like, it's short, but it's also, like, interesting in the way how it's written, where, like, there's, like, no chapter breaks or anything. It's all about her making her, like, confession and all that, so, yeah, I finally found a decent copy of this, because most copies I've seen in my area, like, they're all in, like, really shitty condition, but I found one that's actually in, like, decent shape, so, yeah, so, got that. Those are the only, like, Stephen King books I got out of my newer ones. Now, if we go down here, yeah, we got even more of that, and, okay, what are the newer ones here? I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, Summer of Night is new. This is from Dan Simmons, the same guy that did Hyperion, and yeah, this is a horror story. I've heard some people compare this book to It in the sense that it's like, it's also like coming of age, but also meets some supernatural stuff. So I'm very interested in that. Also, I love this cover art. I think it looks really cool. So yeah, I definitely will try to read through that one soon. Then the one beside it is Floating Dragon with a really badass cover art. This is Peter Straub. Stephen King has worked with him before with The Talisman and Black House. Very interested in reading his solo stuff, so I'm wondering what this one is. I think this one's about, like, a murder that happens in, like, a small town, so I know that probably doesn't sound like anything much, but I'm interested. But yeah, like I said, the cover art is fucking awesome, so we got that. And then we got ourselves another dragon book, and this is one I've really wanted to get. That's Red Dragon from Thomas Harris, the first Hannibal, like, one. And I actually did read a little bit of this book when I was in high school. Yeah, my high school had this book for some reason. I don't know why, but, I mean, hey, fuck it, they did. And, yeah, I love all the movies, and I've always wanted to read the books, and now I finally got this, and yeah, I can't wait for it. But yeah, one thing I do have to point out real quick is that there's so many books with having dragons in the name, but yet they don't have any fucking dragons in them. So, yeah. And then, I think down here we got a couple. So yeah, we got some Clive Cussler books here. These two are new. This is Sahara, which this one actually got turned into a movie. I forget who played in it, but I've heard that the movie was apparently, like, really terrible. But this book I've heard is, like, one of his best, and I've always wanted to, try and read it. But yeah, so when I do start reading Clive Cussler, I think this might be, like, my first one I'll try to read, because, just like looks really cool, and because from what I've heard, like these Dirk Pitt novels are basically like Indiana Jones if they were like like had like a lot of like underwater action scenes. So I'm very interested in that. Though I don't think Sahara has to do much with underwater, but most of them do. Like I think this one does. Inca Gold. This is another one that's new, but yeah, this one like looks really shiny. I really like that, but but yeah, no, this one also sounds really cool too. It has to do with like the Inca era and all that. And then I think, oh yeah, there's two here that are new. So we got Gone with the Wind from Margaret Michelle, classic book, also got made into a classic movie. I've actually never seen the movie. I mean, I've seen parts of it. Like I know that one part where like the one of the main guys are like flips his shit over at the girl, like the main character. I know that scene, but outside of that, I've actually never seen the movie from beginning to end. I definitely should sometime, but yeah, I've heard that even though this book is like really huge, I've heard that it actually reads really quickly, and there's a lot of really cool stuff that happens in it. Like, there's like it has like everything. It has like romance, it has action, has war and thriller, and all this like cool stuff. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. And then this one right here, this one I was surprised I found, is On Stranger Ties from Tim Powers. Really love this cover art. Has like a badass pirate skeleton on it. And yeah, I've heard that this was a very good pirate book, and has to do with pirates. So I'm very curious about that. The only other pirate book I have is this one from Michael Crichton, which I haven't read yet, but I'm going to be reading that one soon. But yeah, I'll be interested in wanting to read this one. Alright, now we're on the shelf beside all of this stuff, and the only new ones here, I only have two left that are new. So this one is new. This is the Count of Monte Cristo in this really awesome, like, leather-bound hardcover. Apparently this was only exclusive at Barnes & Noble's, but because we don't have Barnes & Noble's here, we have Chapters or Indigo. I had to actually order this one off eBay, and yeah, this one, like, has, like the pages are shiny, and has, like, a really beautiful back cover. Really awesome. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, I have to have this. And I've always wanted to read, like, these classic novels, like, Count of Monte Cristo, and, like, the original Dracula and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that'll be a very, very cool one. But yeah, I love this edition. And, the only other new one here, I think, was, yeah, these two. It's, yeah, Dean Koontz with Demon Seed. This is actually a remake of another book that he made, like, early on. I think the original book came out in, like, the 70s, and I remember the cover, like, kind of looked very Ghost in the Shell-ish, which I thought was cool, but this version is, like I said, it's a remake. Like, apparently he, like, kind of fixed up some things and all that.